Good evening, volunteers. I am Ira Singh from Carmel Convent School, Chandigarh, and I am an NSS volunteer from Class 12. Thank you so much for tuning in, and a very happy Independence Day to all of you. The name of our campaign is Every Litter Bit Hurts, which aims at spreading awareness about street garbage and littering. India ranks 177 out of 180 in the World Environmental Performance Index. Many campaigns for the same have been launched by the various governments in the past 74 years. The most significant of them being the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which strongly discourages littering. Littering can be defined as making a place or area untidy with rubbish or incorrectly disposing waste. It has an economic, legal, and an environmental impact in the form of spending millions of dollars in cleaning up the litter. Heavy fine is imposed if caught littering from a vehicle or causing damage to our surroundings that have an effect on plants and animals and can cause loss to the local tourism industry. Plain and simple, littering is wrong. We have trash and garbage cans for a reason. So why throw away your trash on the ground when you can throw it away in its intended place? People still litter, largely for the following reasons. Laziness. The area is already messy. Why bother finding a trash can? The garbage cans have a note stating that they're for specific trash only. Because their neighbor litters, they'll do it too. Or simply because they just don't want to throw the garbage in the dustbin. As much as 40% of the plastic waste collected in India remains uncollected and littered on the streets. Union Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, told the Lok Sabha on November 22, 2019, a whopping 25,940 tons per day of plastic waste is generated in India. Javadekar said, quoting a study of the Central Pollution Control Board, CPCB, the country's 60 major cities produce 4,059 tons per day of plastic, he added. Heaps of garbage, mainly plastic waste, is dumped on the roads in many residential areas and is not removed for many weeks. In the absence of bins, residents dump the waste on roads as dog and cattle squatter upon the waste and also consume it. In most places, garbage is removed by conservancy workers once in a week after it gets piled up. Also, debris from buildings and waste from hotels are dumped on the road. It not only leads to environmental issues, but the width of the road that can be used gets shortened. This raises one question in everyone's mind, and that is, why do people litter? People litter because they do not feel responsible for public areas like streets and parks. The more they litter, the more it becomes a habit, and the worse the community looks. People usually litter outside their own neighborhood, where their trash becomes someone else's problem. People litter because they believe someone else, a maintenance worker or perhaps a responsible neighbor, will pick up after them. Once litter starts to pile up, people feel even less responsible for adding to the litter. If an area is clean, people are less likely to litter, and hence we should try and not litter anywhere. Do not think that if 1,000 other people litter, how will my not littering make an impact? Just remember that this is how change comes about. Next time, before throwing something on the ground in a public place, just think it over once for your country and your planet. Thank you. I now request Mansimra to take over.
Good evening, volunteers. I am Mansimrat Kaur, a student of Class 12 Carmel Convent School, and I am an NSS volunteer. Today, I will be enlightening you all about the facts about littering and street garbage in India and the time taken by various objects to decompose. India's trash bomb. 80% of 1.5 lakh metric ton daily garbage remains unexposed and untreated. India is getting buried in its own garbage as a huge quantity of waste generated daily is never picked up and poisons land, air, and water. Many Indians dump their trash on the streets, not because they are poor, but because of the habit and culture. They say as long as their house is clean, they think, what's the big deal? From Delhi to Mumbai to Bengaluru, many hills of untreated organic and inorganic waste can be found from outside high-end shopping malls, tech parks, and eateries. Piles of plastic, paper, bottle, fruit, peels, and smoke accumulate every day on the side of the road too. Now, let's know how much time some of the objects take to decompose. Firstly, we have chewing gum. Yes, you heard that right. Singapore has banned chewing gum, and in fact, the sale of chewing gum is punishable as it can take hundreds of years for your piece of chewing gum to decompose, and it is non-biodegradable. Litter and open garbage is the underlying reason for stray dogs' menace in India. Second, we have porn and cigarette butts. People chew porn and cigarette butts all the time and spit the cut in the most unhealthy manner, throw gutka wrappers everywhere, in short, making surroundings intolerably dirty. Cigarette takes up to cigarette takes 1 to 12 years to decompose. Thirdly, we have plastic products. Plastic bottles take 70 to 450 years to decompose, whereas plastic bags take 500 to 1000 years to decompose. One more shocking fact is that every toothbrush manufactured till date still exists on Earth. Next, we have sanitary napkins and diapers. According to the Health and Safety Executive, offensive or hygiene waste includes incandescent pads, nappies, etc. It takes almost 500 to 800 years to decompose. Fourth, we have milk packets to pour milk into a container because that never gets decomposed. Aluminium cans. They also take 80 to 200 years to decompose in a landfill. Next, we have rubber boot soles. Except for few eco-minded brands, most shoe manufacturers put rubber soles at the bottom of their sneakers and boots. It takes about 50 to 80 years for rubber boot soles to decompose. Next time, be sure which boots to buy. Nylon fabric. It is mainly a utility fabric used in many sports-related items as well as craft projects. But when trashed, nylon fabric takes 30 to 40 years to decompose. Next, we have batteries. Yes, you heard that right. There are so many different types of batteries which we rely on daily to keep our items as well as ourselves on the go. But when we toss out the everyday batteries it takes about 100 years to fully decompose. There is no single tourist spot which is not dirty with plastic and non-biodegradable litter, notwithstanding the ad campaign by Amir Khan, and despite there being tons against it, or explicit signs asking people not to litter. The garbage in the streets isn't just unsightly, it's also a public health threat, serving as a prime habitat for rodents and mosquitoes that can spread malaria, dengue fever. India has one of the highest dengue infection rates in the world, and the number of cases keep rising. Garbage is like a bomb waiting to explode. It is a breeding ground for so many diseases. We should learn from the king of comedy, Kapil Sharma, who says at the end of his show, to not litter and make your surroundings neat and clean. Now, thank you, and now I would request Ishita Tulli to take over.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ishita Tulli, an NSS volunteer of class 11th from Carmel Convent School, Chandigarh. In the next about 5 minutes or so, I'll be speaking about COVID-19 and its impact on cleanliness. As we all know, COVID-19 has taken a toll on our lives in all aspects, be it emotionally, mentally, economically, daily lives, or work-wise. But hygiene being the most crucial of these, it has made us more self-conscious than ever before. Recently, a study showed that coronavirus has made 87.2% Indians more concerned about personal hygiene. According to World Health Organization, the virus transmits through droplets of saliva and discharge from the nose when an infected person coughs or sneezes. One must clean their hands and avoid close contact in order to protect themselves. The world has become more vigilant towards cleanliness. This awareness could be attributed to spike in number of positive cases and subsequent lockdown imposed by the governments. In the wake of this widespread pandemic, hand sanitizers, and other personal hygiene stuff have also flown off the shelves. The art of living. COVID delivers what Swachh Bharat aimed for. While the Swachh Bharat mission managed to reduce open defecation and make cleanliness a priority for the government, it could hardly get the public to adopt cleanliness as a way of life. The outbreak of the pandemic, which has severely impacted the economy and livelihoods, however, has helped to achieve the SBM goals in the following ways. First, personal hygiene. A noticeable change happened post the COVID-19 outbreak when people sought ways to avoid getting affected by maintaining personal hygiene and social distancing, also nudged by awareness campaigns. Second, industries gets into the act. A commercial push is likely to increase the consumption of hygiene products going ahead. Companies spanning sectors like pharma and liquor launched in record time a range of hygiene products such as face masks, hand sanitizers, and washes to cater to a sudden demand surge. Third, structural change in daily life. The need for social distancing and personal hygiene is going to bring about several structural changes, right from how people stand in queue to watching a movie in the following ways. A. Wearing of masks may remain mandatory in the near future. B. Carrying sanitizers everywhere will be the new normal. Many such changes will take place in the world. I am sanguine that COVID-19 will prove to be a boon in disguise as far as ensuring the cleanliness in our country is concerned. That is, it gives a boost to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. That is it from my side. Over to you, Shreyadi.
Thank you so much. I am Shreya Jain, an NSS volunteer from Carmel Convent School, and today I'll be emphasizing on Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is common knowledge that life in the post-COVID-19 era will not be the same. The effects of the pandemic are expected to have a lasting impact on every sphere of activity, even as various nations are trying to revive their economies and protect livelihoods. As pandemic-induced lockdowns battered economies, disrupted global supply chains, and affected livelihoods across different sectors, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a clarion call to make India self-reliant, which I feel is paramount and is the need of the hour. He announced the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan to propel the country on the path of self-sustenance, with the twin objective of reviving different spheres of the economy in the short term and insulating India from any future global economic downturn in the long run. The Abhiyan seeks to build capacities across sectors and promote local products. At the same time, Atmanirbhar Bharat is not meant to promote protectionism or isolationism by erecting trade barriers. In fact, it's a very common myth to associate Atmanirbhar Bharat with isolationism, which is not at all true. Rather, it seeks to make the Indian economy robust in the long run by scaling up manufacturing, accelerating infrastructure development, attracting investments, and promoting a consumption-led growth. The youth are the future of this country. And hence, I firmly feel that NSS volunteers can take the lead in promoting self-reliance. But India can take the lead over many other nations. You know why? Because 65% of its population is below 35 years and 50% is below 25 years. With a huge educated young population, India is uniquely poised to realize its demographic potential. The fact that Indians are heading several MNCs shows that there is no dearth of knowledge and talent in the country. However, the need of the hour is to upgrade the skills of the youth to meet the employment needs of technology-driven 21st century and accelerate the pace of self-reliance. A host of skill sets, listening and communication, cross-cultural sensitivity, adaptability to changing work environments, emotional intelligence, and social etiquette, along with a good academic record, are important for those seeking employment in the emerging job situation. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, cloud computing, and Internet of Things, among others, will be relied upon by companies. Based on the locally available resources, talent, and skills of the human capital, we must aim to gradually reduce imports in every sector, from crude oil to heavy machinery. Another important issue in which I firmly want to emphasize is that all stakeholders should involve women, because it has been proven by the pandemic that if women emerged as better leaders in the pandemic. For example, Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand is a perfect example. We must endeavor to stay ahead in the innovation-led technology. PSUs and the private sector must not only play a complementary role in building a self-reliant India, but collaborate wherever feasible. I would like to emphasize that collaboration is the solution, not division. This is the time for 130 crore Indians to showcase the country's collective resolve to overcome the setbacks caused by the pandemic. India has the potential to emerge as the global hub for providing skilled manufacturers to other nations. We can prove to the world that the 21st century belongs to India through self-belief, dedication, and discipline, which should be a part and parcel of our lives. We can only bring about a change when we actively collaborate with this initiative. And this is not impossible. This is going to be possible with small steps, with our own actions. Thank you so much.
I am Vidya Arora from Carmel Convent School, Chandigarh, and I am an NSS volunteer from class 11th. Littering causes pollution, a major threat to the environment, and has increasingly become a cause of concern in many countries. As human beings are largely responsible for littering, it is important to understand as how to encourage people not to litter. Laziness and carelessness have bred a culture of habitual littering. Carelessness has made people throw rubbish anywhere without thinking about the consequences of their actions. Many people do not realize or underestimate the negative impacts of littering on the environment. People believe that their individual actions will not harm society as a whole. As a result, it is common to see people throwing rubbish in public areas. The majority of people believe that there are others who will clean up after them, and consequently, the responsibility of cleaning up litter usually falls on local government and taxpayers. Litter adversely affects the environment. Littering along the road or on the streets or by the litter bins, toxic materials or chemicals in litter can blown or washed into rivers, forests, lakes, and oceans, and eventually can pollute waterways. Soil or aquatic environments. Litter also reduces air quality due to smell and toxic chemical vapor emanating from the trash. A polluted environment can encourage spread of diseases. Plastic litter is another threat to the environment and its inhabitants. It is often been mistaken for food by both land and marine wildlife. When consumed by animals, they reduce the stomach capacity since they cannot be digested. Cleaning up litter requires a huge amount of money that is financed by taxpayers that could be used in more productive ways. Littered places are usually displaying and they depreciate the aesthetic value and real value of the surrounding environment. The ideal way to handle the problem of littering is for each member of society to take responsibility and try their best to properly dispose waste. If citizens are required not to litter, appropriate conditions must be provided by local governments. Measures must be taken by appropriate local authorities to ensure more garbage bins are installed in various areas to avoid additional problems due to overfilling the bins. Most must be emptied regularly. Enforcing strict litter laws will encourage people not to litter in private and public places. Such law work towards prohibited illegal dumping and littering. A few ways in which we could reduce littering are: could fine people for littering, make throwing stuff in bins fun, could even use social proof to indicate that a high percentage of people use the bin, could create a social stigma for people who litter. We could use C-bin, and it is generally a plastic waste collector. It is a simple solution for cleaning up waste in ports and marines before it reaches the sea or the ocean. Thank you. Now I would request Ananya Di to take over.
Hello everyone, I am Ananya Paul. I'm in the 12th grade at Carmel and an NSS volunteer. So we've already discussed quite a lot about our campaign, but another important thing that we need to be aware of is how this unlawful practice can cost municipalities lakhs of rupees every year. Imagine how that big of an amount could be used for other essential city services such as school funds, yet we and let the garbage and the junk overflow by the dustbin. Littering is a dangerous activity, and it really is high time that we take an action. We're just a few students who wish to make a change, but we can't do it without your help. We need you all to spread the message across, comply with the cleanliness laws, and most importantly, inspire others to do the same. Because who better than the youth of the nation? So, with that, I'd like to call it a wrap. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving us your time. And I hope we were able to leave a little impact on you there. Jai Hind.